Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney. So if you remember a few months ago, we did a video talking about how some Disney investors were suing Disney over Disney Plus and other issues they've had with the company. And it looks like that lawsuit is going to move forward.
Yes. So they tried to get dismissed, as Disney does, and the judge said, nope, there's enough here to move forward with it.
Yeah. Now, one of the big bombshells to come out of this, and we're going to go out to the original Hollywood Reporter article, is that Disney's top brass are being accused of insider trading.
Yeah, they were when they filed it too, but yeah, I forgot about that. That's their new thing, is that they're beyond all the other accusations. The investors, and it's just one group so far, they want to make it into a class action lawsuit open to certain groups of investors, are also levying accusations of insider trading against Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, Kareem Daniel, and Christine McCarthy.
Yeah, what's interesting is that they're allowed to sue Disney because they all had Disney Plus.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
right.
They're investors, so you know.
Yeah,
and a lot of it's about Disney Plus, so you would have signed the terms of service.
Yeah, right. So anyway, let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So the original article came from the Hollywood Reporter. Disney's multi-billion-dollar streaming decisions may be unearthed in court battle against investors.
Meaning Discovery. It'd be interesting to see what they get in Discovery.
Yeah. A judge declined to dismiss the lawsuit from investors who claimed former CEO Bob Chapek aimed to hide Disney Plus costs and make forecasts that would be profitable by 2024.
And here's the thing, though. Iger used to say it'd be profitable by 2024 also from the time they launched it. That was one of the things they said, but they did change the wording from Disney Plus would be profitable or is profitable to our streaming services are profitable, like it's combined with the rest to be profitable now.
Yeah, we brought that up too, that they're basically burying it now because they promised investors Disney Plus is going to be profitable. Disney Plus is going to be profitable. Then they saw they were getting profit from Hulu and ESPN. They're like, oh, all of our streaming
We're
is profitable
if you roll everything together. Yes.
We didn't lie, honest. Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. They also talk about pushing the budgets around for some of these Disney shows, and as we've seen, streaming has collapsed. A lot of streaming services have collapsed, and Disney's own streaming shows, even though they're supposedly profitable, they still lost a bunch of subs, and they canceled shows. They took a beating on some of the Marvel and Star Wars stuff they produced. So they're not really knocking it out of the park, right?
Right. So what they're going after them for is they're engaged in deceptive conduct, is what they're saying, and that's what the judge says. There's enough evidence that it can move forward. They're mad about Chapek, and they're saying that he tried to hide Disney costs and forecast that it'd be profitable by 2024, believable by overhauling the executive leadership structure, because he made everything to, he did the DMED, the digital media entertainment, distribution thing.
Damned.
Where he took it away from the people in charge, and he was like sitting on all of it. Yeah. And they're claiming that, he lied about that to try to convince them there's subscriber growth, and there wasn't. They're mad about that. They're mad about the Verizon deal, where when they first launched Disney Plus, and then later on, they gave Verizon customers Disney Plus for free to try to up the subscribers. But that was actually a Bob Iger thing initially. He kept upping the amount of subscriber target figure, which, kind of bit him in the ass on that one.
Yeah, because they said that originally they were trying to hit 230 million by 2024, and as of December 2024, Disney Plus core subscribers stood at 124.6 million, almost half. But the thing is that look, as a business person, sometimes it's very hard to make projections that far into the future, especially when you're dealing with new platforms, right?
But they wanted to convince these investors to go along with it. So they promised the moon. And I think also, to be fair, if we're going to be fair here, the only thing that saved Disney's ass during the pandemic was Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Because the parks are closed, at least until they got Disney World reopened. Even then, it was limited and there wasn't that many people going. But for the longest time, Disney Plus is what kept them from bankruptcy and loans.
Yes. Now, And they did take out a lot of loans during the pandemic, and we haven't heard anything about them repaying them.
Well, some of them I think they've paid back because they were like within 5 years or so, but there was a lot that were longer, and they probably are buried in the report somewhere. But yeah.
So this is where I think they're getting into it. They said the court sided with investors that they sufficiently alleged corporate maneuvering by Chapek and other executives designed to achieve short-term quarterly subscriber growth and hide the runaway costs.
Right. I think they had up to like 33 billion in expenditures for Disney Plus shows.
Yeah, and they were kind of hiding the costs. And they were also spreading the cost across different parts of the company, because we mentioned this before. Like Ms. Marvel is a good example. They ran it on Disney Plus, but they also ran it on ABC and on Freeform. So technically,
they did that more recently, but I think they're talking more about the Mysterious Benedict Society and that new Doogie Howser show. They basically ran it on linear first before putting it on Disney Plus. And the argument was that they were probably doing that to take money out of the linear budget and saying, oh, it was on linear first, so we could take money from there to offset the Disney Plus money. They did it later with other things too, but the one I think they're mad about under Chapek were those two shows, for example.
I remember that. That was the whole thing. Yeah, and that's actually why, or part of why, Disney's linear business died, is they basically robbed linear to pay for Disney Plus and tried to push everybody over to Disney Plus. So Disney Plus is basically the Disney Channel now, and then they let the Disney Channel die.
Pretty much. Yeah. So that's one of the things. They're also mad about that they sent Pixar's movies, Soul, Turning Red, and Luca, directly to Disney instead of theaters. Well, here's the thing, at least for Soul for sure, and I think Luca even, it was during the pandemic. You couldn't exactly send it to theaters. I mean, they could have sat on them and waited for theaters to reopen. Yeah. But they put them on Disney Plus because at least they figured at least we can get more subscribers, at least paying something for it, as opposed to just not getting anything back on it. So that one I'm not going to really give them, because it wasn't like the premiere where they were trying to cash in on it. Those ones they gave for free, well, included with your subscription, but they really couldn't put them in theaters either. Not in the way, the theaters were either closed or limited, and it wasn't going to work. So that one, I really don't give them that one, because I don't think I don't know what else they could have done. And everybody else was doing that too. Yeah,
that was kind of an act of God, right? Or
yeah, I would argue that one.
Depends on how you look at it. They said, several former Disney employees have backed the allegations that Chapek was going to set out to flood the digital shells with as much content as possible. A confidential witness who served as a senior executive for the streaming arm from 2019 to 2021 told the courts she was under constant pressure to meet unreasonable targets, and that Chapek directed studios to produce as much content as you can, under the belief that the game will be won by whoever has the most content. Mm-hmm. Another former executive who was in charge of implementing the global roadmap for Disney Plus recalled that growth from a subscription perspective was all anyone wanted to hear about. And that's the thing. And they put a bunch of subpar stuff out there, especially with Marvel and Star Wars, and they flooded the market with subpar. And now those brands are both damaged.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to talk about it later with the Marvel thing, that there's some stuff that they've already probably shelved because of the same situation. But yeah, so they were talking about that. But then what got me was, they said they were supposed to send 16 billion. They ballooned it to 33 billion, then tried to, basically shift things around to hide it.
Yeah. Netflix only spent 17 billion, and they have way more subscribers. So
if you go down, talk about Iger coming back and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. But if you go to the bottom, that's where it's interesting. Yeah, you can see they're talking about the Mysterious Benedict Society and that there. But yeah, investors allege that the cost shifting violated Disney's internal accounting policies, because they were saying it was linear to take money and all that. And then they said there's claims related to alleged insider trading by Chapek, Daniel, McCarthy, and Iger. And those are also allowed to proceed.
Okay, so that's where
insider trading, yes.
That's where it's going to get really interesting. So what are we talking about here? Are we talking companies associated with Disney? Are we talking, because people go to jail for insider trading.
Right.
You know that, Bob's, right? Is this why McCarthy noped out?
I don't know. She's the one that supposedly went and got Chapek removed. And then she was in there right away when Iger was back, but then she seemed like she wanted out of there pretty quick and said, it was family issues. But I don't think it was. I don't know. But there's alleging insider trading. as part of this complaint, and it's enough validity to it that the judge agreed that it can move forward, including that part.
Yeah, I'm really interested in hearing what those allegations are.
Well, then it said that the proposed class action lawsuit would represent investors who bought Disney stock from December 2020 to May 2023, which I think it should go earlier than that. If you're going about Disney Plus and you're talking about Verizon deals and all that, that would have started in 2019.
Yeah.
But they said that it was 2020 to May of 2023. During this period, the company's share price dropped 55% from $203 to roughly $92. I remember you said it was going to drop because it wasn't going to stay high. And they're like, you're just negative, Clownfish TV. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, my God. We had so many people, and I guarantee you these people don't buy stock. They were in the comments when I said, yeah, this is as high as Disney's going to go. It hit like $200. I'm like, it's going to drop after this because they're never going to have another year like they did in 2019 with the movies.
Yeah.
And I said it's going to drop. And then it dropped. And they're like, well, it's only because of the pandemic. And then it just never came back. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like, yeah, because people are looking at it and they're like, yeah, there's like Disney is stable, but it's not a moneymaker. It, at this point, it feels like the entire company is literally robbing Peter to pay Paul, especially with the linear content, especially with the theme parks. I think they're taking from the theme park budget and they're buying more boats.
Well, they're calling it, they restructure to allow it, like it's parks and entertainment now. And just like he had it, to DMED reorganized so that he could take things from one thing to another. And that's what I think he did with those shows in the linear TV space. So I think they have a case on that one. I think they have a case on, misleading and trying to make it appear more successful than it was. The Verizon thing, that was 2019. They still do it now. And they said, well, they were listing as paid subscribers. I'm sure they were paid. I'm sure they were paid at a wholesale rate. So basically what they did is like Verizon might give it to their customers. And they might pay like $2 a subscription, $1 a subscription. Everybody else was paying $8 at the time. And they got a wholesale rate, kind of like what Charter Spectrum and some of these other cable providers have made deals with Disney for. They're still paying for these subscribers technically, but it's a much reduced rate. So that one, they might be a little harder to prove. The insider trading, I'd love to know more about that one.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that. So we're definitely gonna have to keep tabs on this whole thing. But yeah, somebody needs to go in and like Doge Disney.
Yeah, well, they're not allowed to, but they really do need to. Well, this kind of stuff is going to open the books, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason we know about how much money Disney Plus was making and how much money like they made off of the Lightning Lane and stuff was because that hack, that null bulge hack.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we know.
Oh, I can't wait for the Gina Carano lawsuit. Because
I know. The discovery's going to be glorious on that one.
Speaking of Doge, I mean, Musk is bankrolling that one. So I think the reason he's bankrolling is he wants to crack the books open on Disney and, see what they're hiding. I think it's going to be
he told Iger to go F himself. So, yeah.
Yeah, now they advertise on X again.
Yeah, well, they were going to because Disney was like, well, you need us more than we need you. And it's not the case.
Nope. Anyway, are we going to wrap this one up?
Yes.
There we go, guys. Wouldn't that be wild if the ride of a lifetime ended with Bob Iger in prison for insider trading?
Oh, they're rich. They'll get a slap on the wrist. That
Martha Stewart went to prison.
I know, but they made an example of her, but she did nothing that Pelosi and company don't do all the time. Allegedly. Allegedly.
Now she hangs out with Snoop Dogg, right?
Yeah. Martha Stewart, not Nancy Pelosi.
No. So let's wrap this one up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.